Assalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again, welcome back to our 13 Rivers Community Show. Every week, every Wednesdays, we will do our best to come back and try and engage with yourself. And obviously, want to give a big thanks to all our viewers out there who took part on last Friday for our emergency COVID-19 appeal on Channel S and also on our community show as well. MashaAllah, I've got to say it was a very, very good success, and with your help and support, last Friday we managed to raise over like 20k, I think. So it was really, really good. It was a very good effort, and I want to thank the 13 Rivers team, Eating Care team, the Muslim Burial Fund team, and also all our supporters and volunteers out there who kind of like took part in this as well, and also our staff members and Channel S for actually providing an excellent platform for us to do so. And I cannot forget also our studio master behind the scene, who managed to kind of like keep our community show live and active as well, with diverse range of guests coming in. So well done to everyone for last Friday's fundraiser that took place on two platforms, on Sky and also on this platform as well. So we're back once again on our Wednesday show. Today, alhamdulillah, hopefully we have an interesting show. I'm quite eager to learn a lot. I'm not really IT savvy. So today's show is all about basically your privacy. Time to leave WhatsApp, I think. So many people are kind of like messaging, forwarding their arguments, saying that it's a bad time that we kind of like moved away from WhatsApp. WhatsApp has a monopoly over our communication, and many people make the argument that basically WhatsApp privacy is going to have their policy on privacy is going to have an impact on us. I'm not really kind of like up to date with this kind of technology. I mean, I do use WhatsApp. I myself started to now use Beep. I thought, try something different, So I'm not sure how you're feeling. So today we're going to be talking about, privacy and how to protect your privacy as well. So it's very important if that's an important factor. I've got a good range of guests here today. So before I go to the guests, it's the usual thing. All you got to do is basically give us a call, send us a message, and more importantly, please share our link. You're probably on our Facebook watching us. You probably got a prompt and kind of like coming in. We are going to have a lively discussion. Hopefully it's going to be educational, informative. We may disagree with each other. We are not sponsored by any company or anything like that. It's just we've got our own view. This is a community show where we want to express our views. I can't say someone is right, someone is wrong, but end of the day, you're going to have to make your decision, if you feel that your privacy is compromised. And what can we do as a community to protect ourselves as well? I mean, I know many people, they've been kind of like swindled on their phone by fraudsters, like their accounts being hacked, money being taken out. Many people have become victims. As you can see, our hot number has popped up. All you got to do is call that number 0208 and, we will talk to you. We'll give callers a priority as well. Give us a message. Also, we will read those messages out. So today, who do we have in a guest? Yeah, I've got to say, I'm kind of very honored. I've got brother Jamal Ahmed here as well, mashallah, and he deals with a very, very sophisticated topic, which is, privacy. He's a consultant when it comes to protecting privacy. I personally don't know what that means at the moment, so he's going to have to explain all that. I thought privacy is about, like I'll keep myself to myself or whatever. Yeah, but I mean, let's see what he has to say on that afterwards. First of all, Jamal Bhai, welcome to our 13 Rivers Community Show. How are you today?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I'm very well. I'm very excited about today's topic. It's something that I'm deeply passionate about. So I'm really looking forward to the conversation. And thank you for inviting me today.
No. Our pleasure from 13 Rivers. But you got to understand, look, you can see my hair is all grey, isn't it? Yeah, right. So I'm not really, so you got to educate me. All of us, I'm at work, people are teaching me how to use all these smart devices and, I always keep on forgetting my passwords, and people are saying to me like, Abjol bhai, look, listen, like sort it out, yeah, or I've got weak passwords, and the whole world is like it's like a jungle for me because, and can you imagine now with COVID-19, so many people are forced and encouraged to, go online, use laptops and tablets. Students are working from home on the computer. Everything's basically gone computer. Are we ready for this kind of, COVID-19 has thrown us into the future where we would have taken our time getting there, yeah? But anyway, I mean, we can come back to that. I mean, let's move over to our next kid. I've got brother Abu Foysol with us, mashallah. He's a photographer. He's a filmmaker as well, and hopefully he can partner up with me in making some like blockbuster movies in Brick Lane or whatever, yeah? So Abu Foysol, welcome to the 13 Rivers Community Show.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Again, thank you for having me, Abjol bhai. It's actually an honor to be in this show. Thank you.
Great, excellent. Yeah, and that's what we want to do. We want to bring our talents from our community on the screen. Obviously, we are not mainstream TV. We're not like ITV or BBC or any of the big ones. But I think the fashion is moving away. I mean, I can't remember. I don't really hardly watch TV now. I mean, everything is mostly on Facebook, social media, messages that people give me. So I'm probably one of those victims. I'm like, like receiving so much information and data. I don't know what to do with it. And we're living in the data world. I've got to say, I've got another young man here, fantastic. On the first call, he just accepted the invitation. I've got Oliver here. He's a student. And, he does something even more interesting, okay? What I got, artificial intelligence, okay? He's studying that, and I think that's a fantastic topic, and I really like to get to know more about that. Oliver, welcome to the 13 Rivers Show. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me. Really happy to take part of your show. This is my first year of doing my bachelor of artificial intelligence. So of course I'm just a newbie, but I'm also passionate about privacy as well. So cybersecurity is a field that I really like. And I feel like.
Is there a lot of young people into this? I mean, are the young people interested in this field?
Kind of, but not when it comes about security. So I just feel like there's a lot of people that should be more aware of what's going on behind the scenes.
Fantastic. Well, like that's a humongous mountain to climb, because like we've got even our pensioners, our elderly people are asked to actually go on use all these high-tech stuff and go on computers, and the whole society is evolving around making things more easy and more accessible through the digital mode. I'm not sure if we as a society are ready for it, and if there are repercussions and if there are difficulties. What I would really like everybody out there, those of you who are watching us today, please give us a call, please engage with us, and give us your comments. I want to really hear what you have to say. Give us a call on 0208 1234507, and tell us what you think about the importance of privacy. Does that matter to you as a community? Is that important? Or are we giving our privacy away? Should we move away from WhatsApp? Is WhatsApp making such a dangerous move that's going to actually intervene your privacy? And in some communities, we see privacy is not a big issue. Now people don't really care. Well, so what? I mean, if they want to know about me, they know about me. Yeah. I mean, does it really matter? Do you want to be profiled? Yeah. Are you aware that you've been profiled? So there's so many different sophisticated technologies out there that's picking things up. I mean, I love watching movies. Yeah. So every time I get on Facebook, like sometimes a movie thing comes on, I'm thinking, why are they doing? How do they know that I'm interested in this and that? Oliver, tell me, how is it sometimes on these kind of social media platforms, they know what your interests are?
Yes, this is because they follow a structure of algorithms. So when you use a browser, for example, Google Chrome, when you're on YouTube, everything you do is monitored. With these algorithms, they are able to these how they make money. These how they make their money. They sell your data to advertisers, and these advertisers are going to show you all the ads that can be relevant to you. These are all ads related to what you watch and related to your interests as well.
So Oliver, just to kind of help me, yeah. So I mean, I enjoy snowboarding, right? So because I'm so bored, I really want to go out snowboarding, and I can't do it this year round. Obviously, I'm going on YouTube watching snowboards and people doing all the jumps, and then suddenly on Facebook, I get all these like cheap holidays coming. Is that what you mean?
That's what I mean, exactly. For example, personally, I do not. This is something that doesn't happen to me, but that's because I do not have a Google account. So anytime I'm on YouTube, I use YouTube as a guest. I'm signed out. So everything I do is not really monitored. But I also take other precautions. So I use a VPN, or I use some features on the browser that disable cookies. In that way, they are not able to track what I do.
And why is that important for you, Oliver?
This is really important for me because a lot of people say, "Oh, I got nothing to hide." And they're giving up the right to privacy. But in my opinion, when it comes about this, you don't know when you're gonna need your right to privacy, because everything you do today may be used against you tomorrow. So, of course, it's like saying, when it comes about right to speech as well, you don't want them to take away your right to speech just because you have nothing to say. And I just feel like this is exactly the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. So you're right not to be taken away, and also in the future, they can't intervene with your right because they have or they want to miscue you in a particular way. I know a lot of community people and politicians, they always get they get a smack in the face because they've said something in the past or they've said something in the media, and then it just comes back at them, yeah, because the people do a Google check and they find quite a lot of information, and they're able to get back. I know many people have actually been bitten by that, because people at a certain point, they don't care, but then when it does bite them, then they sugar. Then they're going cleaning their Facebook up, trying to get rid of things. It's just like, now let's before we go really, really deep in, I just want to quickly, that was just a little warm up, Oliver, just to kind of warm everyone up. Let's just kind of find out a little bit more about yourselves now, yeah. So let's go to Brother Jamal Ahmed, yeah. Tell us about yourself, inshallah, and what you like doing, and the background that you hold now at the moment.
Well, the background is my company, KZN Privacy Experts. It's a company I founded in 2014. And the reason for that was I realized there was a massive gap in the market for small to medium-sized businesses when it comes to compliance. So the only solution was to go to a law firm or to go to one of the big four accounting companies if you wanted to adopt privacy practices as a small or medium-sized organization. And for a lot of businesses, it just wasn't a feasible option. It wasn't affordable. And my experience of working with these consultancies was that they didn't actually understand what the people needed on the ground. The solutions that they have for high-tech blue-chip corporations aren't the same pragmatic solutions that you need to give for small and medium-sized businesses, which are often not as complicated. They don't have, departments full of teams that can just focus on privacy or focus on IT. It's usually one or two people taking on a multitude of tasks. So I wanted to bring data protection accessible. I wanted to bring it in a language that everyone can understand and really provide pragmatic solutions. And alhamdulillah, we've done really well. As a result, we've got some clients from all over the world. I'm now a trainer I've trained people in 137 countries now and counting. Work with massive companies like Radisson Blue Group, M&G Investments, KPMG, and we also represent large publishing businesses such as the Independent Media Group. So they do the Evening Standard, for representation across Europe. So as Brexit came in, we had to offer EU representation. So if anybody's watching and you have a business and you're offering goods and services to people in Europe, then you're also required to appoint an EU representative. So I'm more than happy to help you guys out. But what we've been really focusing on in 2021 is a lot of people have been furloughed. They've come off, they've lost work, they've been made redundant. A lot of people have graduated or they've been looking for work for a year and they feel very frustrated. They're not fulfilling their potential. And one of the things that I've seen in the privacy industry is it's full of middle-class white men. There's not much diversity. And one of the things that I was invited to do last year was speak to an industry panel about bringing diversity into privacy. So when I first came into the industry, I kind of came in and disrupted it. I was this young brown face. I remember I went to one industry event, and a guy took off his coat and he gave me his coat. Like, I was one of the waiters there. And that was like, for me, like, man, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to be on stage. And since then, I've been given global platforms from media all across the world. So BBC regularly cite me as the king of data protection. We've got Euronews. I've had articles published in Thomson Reuters, by Lexology, by Foreign Policy, by Global Policy. So when it comes to things that lawyers are reading, you'll see my articles and my opinions in there as a published author. And alhamdulillah, I've been very successful in what I've done. All praise is due to Allah. Anything good comes from him. Any mistakes you see, please do forgive me. And of course, everyone watching who's familiar with me on Facebook will know I do occasionally like to have a rant when it comes to data privacy, because I see a lot of businesses, a lot of organizations in our community.
Jamal, I'll come to you later on once we get into the meat here, right? Okay, so I just want to quickly go to Abu Foysol to kind of get his background, what he does and that, so that our audience get to know him as well. One of my key objectives is always to introduce new people to our platform and also people to get to know who they are. So this is your chance, Brother Abu Foysol. Thank you for coming as well.
Thank you for having me. Did you want me to introduce myself?
Yeah, please. Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself as well.
Okay, so I'm a photographer, filmmaker based in East London. I've worked with various companies, charity organizations. I'm one of the guys that, if you recall, the Unity Convoy, 2017.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah, these were the 80 ambulances that traveled from the UK all the way to Syria. That was donated by people from. Yeah, so I've also taken part in making music videos. Like people like Ali Jacob, he's one of our famous boxers from our community, and various companies.
No, that's good. That's good. Good to hear that. Yeah, and why? Very quickly, why do you think privacy is important to you?
For me, as a photographer, because I have clients, I'm also a business. Yeah, I have clients. I have communication. Certain part of my work is private. So certain clients say, for instance, the bride and the groom. Yeah, when they're Muslim, that certainly comes into play. Yeah, so protecting the data. Messages that are being sent of them to me, if they were to be leaked, certain images, if they were to be shared, because I have an agreement with my client that I will not share them publicly. Yeah, you will not see that on my website or my Instagram page or anywhere else because they're private. I've agreed to do that. If that was to be leaked or messages that have been leaked, yeah, then obviously my contract with my client is broken and they could probably sue me.
Oh, they can see you. Okay, let's go to brother Jamal. Yeah, tell us, can we make money in suing people? I mean, is there a good industry now where we can tap into? I mean, obviously with COVID and furlough and everything, yeah, is there a good way of making money in those people kind of breach people's privacy? And can we win them? Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to like encourage everyone to go and sue people and that, yeah, but are people vulnerable that they're breaching these data policies and that it can be in trouble?
Yes, absolutely. So look, I'm just going to touch upon what our esteemed guest Oliver said earlier. He said, but privacy is a basic fundamental human right, and he quoted Edward Snowden when Edward Snowden said, just because you say you don't care about your right to privacy because you have nothing to hide, it's the same as saying you don't care about the right of freedom of expression, of the freedom to speak, just because you have nothing to say, right? And just because I don't have anything to hide and you think I don't have anything to hide, that doesn't mean that you get the right to infringe upon my basic human right. The right to privacy, the right to private life is a fundamental basic human right. And last year, in 2018, the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulations, came into force, and it increased the rights that individuals have when it comes to the use of their privacy and when individuals or businesses are collecting them for commercial purposes. Now, one of the things that businesses have to do as a result is they have to train all of their staff every year on the basics of the GDPR. They need to make sure that they serve a transparency notice. So they need to tell you when you come on their websites, when they drop in cookies, when you're making a donation, when you're making a purchase, when you're browsing on a social media account, when you're using a communication messenger such as WhatsApp, what information they're collecting from you, what they plan to do with that, who they're going to share it with, and how you can exercise your rights as an individual. And if they fail to honor any of your privacy rights, you can actually sue them, and they could be fined up to £18 million or 4% of annual global turnover. And if anyone's been watching the news when it comes to data privacy, you'll see that companies, even such as British Airways and Marriott Hotels have been given huge fines. And there are lawsuits, class actions against those companies where people are expecting thousands of pounds in compensation because they failed to respect the right to privacy with their personal data. So absolutely, if a business or an organization or a charity is not looking after your personal data, it is your right to go out there and make a claim against them and make a complaint against them to make sure that your rights and your rights as an individual are honored. And if they weren't honored, you're compensated.
Oliver, let's go to Oliver. Oliver, do you think we are serious as communities when it comes to our privacy? Do you feel that like we're kind of equipped with the knowledge and understanding, or do you think there's a massive gap that needs filling?
But what do you mean by we?
Like, let's say we as people in society, generally the public, do you think we are well informed when it comes to understanding privacy? I mean, some of these legislations and these data protection acts, are people aware of it? Do you think, or do you get the sense that they're aware of it, or do you think we need to educate more people?
I feel like a lot of people need to be educated. A lot of policies. Anytime you download a policy, you need to read. Anytime you download an app or you use a service, it's important to read the agreement and the privacy policy. And this is something that 99% of the people do not do.
Okay, let me test that. Let me. I know you probably do it, yeah. But let's go to Foysol. Foysol, do you read every single footnote clause that when you're like purchasing something or you're going into something? Do you read everything?
Absolutely no. I don't think. No, me personally, I don't, because I don't have the time. And
so you could be quite vulnerable now.
Absolutely. To be honest, I'm more aware of these things thanks to Jamal Bhai, because we're friends on Facebook, and he's actually made a lot of awareness about this. So I am very wary of what's going on. I do try and do some research before I would purchase anything.
I'm going to test you out, yeah? During this lockdown or the first wave of lockdown, did you go to any masjids and did you give your data to the masjid as you entered the mosque?
No, I didn't, because I didn't. No, I wouldn't do that because I am aware. Okay, Jamal Bhai has done a good job. He's made us aware.
No, look, I mean, I can only speak from like that simple person's background. Yeah, I didn't have no clue. You know what I mean? I queued up and people asked for telephone numbers and things like that, and I saw people giving it. I mean, because people don't have anything to hide, they're giving it because obviously COVID, and therefore they need to trace and track and kind of like, or otherwise, the mosque won't be allowed to actually allow the worshippers to come in. So they've got to follow the rules and regulation. Jamal Bhai, I can see you were like nodding your head, yeah?
Yeah, so when you mentioned COVID and mosque collecting data, so look, here's the thing, right? The law has two types of data. We've got standard personal data, and we've got something called special category data. And special category data is some data that can reveal something about you that's quite personal to you, and that could be used to discriminate against you. So the fact that you're a Muslim is something that could be used to discriminate against you. So when you go to a mosque and they're collecting that information, because it's a mosque collecting it, someone that gets their hands on that could say, hey, this is a list of Muslims, let's go and do some damage, or let's go and do something to discriminate against them. And when you're collecting special category data, what the law actually says is you must have the individual's consent to collect that data. And for consent to be valid, it must be freely given. It cannot be a condition of entry or access to a service. So if mosques are standing there, or if mosque trustees or administrators are denying you a service based on something you have to consent to, they are violating your right to privacy, because they're saying you have to give up your right to privacy to access the mosque or access the service. And the thing that hurt me the most about this is, if anyone studied their actual religion when it comes to Islam, forget the right to privacy, which was established in 1998 or by the OECD in modern European history. Go back 1400 years into the deserts of Saudi Arabia. Our Prophet ﷺ established the right to data privacy as a fundamental human right. In Islam, they value privacy so much that it says that when you knock on someone's door, you should stand to one side. So when they open the door, you don't peer into their house. There's also another story where a gentleman went to see our Prophet ﷺ, and he didn't want to disturb him. So he peered in through the gap in his house, and he saw that he was at prayer. So he went away and didn't disturb him. Later, he met the Prophet ﷺ in the market, and he said, oh, I came to visit you earlier, and I noticed you were praying, so I didn't disturb you. I wanted to ask you a question. So our Prophet replied to him, when you came to see me, how did you know I was praying? He said, I peeked in through the house. And the Prophet ﷺ, and don't quote me 100% on this, replied and said, what he did was wrong. It would have been better if he'd put a hot rod through his eye than peep into someone's house. And in a different narration, we see that if someone peeps into your house and you chuck something at them and it injures them or even kills them, there is no sin on you, because you have the right to privacy. Now, if that's the right to privacy in someone peeking into your house, when companies and organizations are looking at your devices, like your smartphone lives with you 24 hours a day, right? And on your phone is all of your most intimate thoughts, it's your habits. If you've observed someone's phone activity for a period of 24 hours, you'll often know more about their mentality and their psyche than their neighbors and the people that they often live with, because you can see what they're thinking, you can see what their likes are, you can see what they're disliking. And I think from about 5 likes on Facebook, they can accurately predict a lot of information about you based on those data points. And for companies and organizations to be placing cookies, watching what you're doing with your devices, watching what sites you're going to, watching where you're reading your news articles, watching what your shopping habits are, it's an absolute violation of the right to privacy. And there is no way it should happen. And when it comes to mosques, I remember I got a call from a gentleman in Leicester. He said he's been to his local mosque and they've asked him about his medical information, and they also want to know who else he lives with. And he was like, this is absolutely disgraceful. But thankfully, we was able to put some guidance, and we issued that to the Muslim Council of Britain, and that guidance is available on their website. So if anybody is watching and they're running a mosque, or they're the trustee or the management of a mosque and they're unsure, you can go to the Muslim Council of Britain website and you can search for the guidance on collecting information about worshippers. And whether you're Muslim, Christian, or if you have a place of worship, that piece of work we did is relevant to any place of worship. So you've got some free resources with some useful information that can add value to your organization there as well.
Thank you, Jamal. Obviously, the reason I raised that kind of issue is that those very simple things that we're not very aware of. I've got another one. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Okay, all right. So what I was saying is all those kind of simple elements or simple practical things that causes a problem that we are not aware of. What about medical records in that? Yeah, I mean, like now medical record is like quite freely accessible. I'm sure all of our medical records are like the GP can access it. Royal London Hospital, everyone can basically access it. Do you think that is safe? Anyone? And also, don't feel free to jump in as well, so you can also ask each other questions.
So look, when it comes to medical records, we're talking about health information. And a minute ago, I said we've got some information which we call special category information. So any information that reveals anything about your health, whether it's a fit note or whether it's a sick note or whether it's measuring your heartbeat on your Fitbit. All of that information to do with your health, or that reveals anything about your health, is special category data. And that's something that, again, affords greater protection by the general data protection regulations or privacy law, whatever is easier for us to refer to it as. Now, the challenge, and one of the reasons I was very outspoken against the government having a centralized collection of test and trace data, is if you're collecting the health information and the movements of the whole of the UK population, right now, you're saying you're using it for test and trace, but that could also be used for other purposes, which could be very harmful for people. So it could be used by law enforcement, it could be used by intelligence. And when intelligence and law enforcement get hold of that data and start using it for other purposes, it becomes very dangerous for individuals, and you live in what's called a police state. Now, I did a piece earlier last year where we spoke about the MI5's data processing activities, and what we could see that they weren't deleting information when they were supposed to. They was holding on to it for longer than they needed to, or longer than they was allowed to. And because they think they're above the law and there's no one to enforce the law, they pretty much did what they want. Can we be in a situation again where we're allowing the UK government to collect?
Jamal, just can I just interject there? Yeah, I think we potentially might have a caller. So obviously we want to give our caller an opportunity to. Hello, Assalamu alaikum, caller.
Walaikum salam.
Yeah, your name and where are you calling from?
Me, I'm an avid student of martial arts abuse. My name is Ahmed.
Okay, Abjol, if you're speaking to me, I can't hear you. So
I always look forward to. So thank you for doing the show.
Great. No, fantastic. Akik, you're welcome, and I'm sure you enjoy the training and that. But on this particular topic, let's have your view. Let's see your take.
You know what Brother Jamal's opinion is on VPN softwares when going about your daily life on the internet, and secondly, what's his take on the most recent NSO Finfisher and the hacker group doing what they do. Obviously, NSO we know is an Israeli-backed company, and what's his view on it, really, those three companies. That'll be all.
Okay, just hold on there, Akik. I just want to find out if my guest heard you clearly. Brother Jamal, did you hear him clearly?
So I heard the first bit about a VPN. The second bit I wasn't quite.
Let me ask Akik. Akik, if you can kind of like mention repeat what you said again, please. Yeah. So that
I wanted to know Brother Jamal's opinion on the NSO Group, which is an Israeli-backed company, is in Israel. The Hacking Group and Finfisher, all three companies are, malicious in the way they fish for information, especially in this digital age. And what's his take on that, those three companies?
Great. Jamal, did you get that?
I did, yes.
Okay, you stay there, and let's see how Jamal responds to that.
So let me take them one at a time. So the first question the brother asked there was about VPN. Now, for anyone that doesn't know what a VPN is a virtual private network, and it's a piece of software that you can download onto your devices. And what it does essentially, it creates a secure tunnel between your phone and the internet, so that nobody can look in to see what your activities are. So there's a private network that's created, and anyone that's trying to come in can't actually see your activity. So it gives you that additional layer of protection. Now, personally, I use ExpressVPN, and that's not an endorsement of the product, but it's just my personal choice.
Wait. Mention that again. I want to write it down. Express what?
ExpressVPN. I'll send you a link later, Abjol.
All right, okay, yeah, no, I'm educating myself here. This is a good education.
I personally use ExpressVPN, but anyone that is going to be buying a VPN, make sure you do your homework, because there are some VPNs that have a backdoor for some advertisers, and they've done a deal with that. And some VPNs will actually slow down your connection, and you'll find that you're not actually using them because it's slowing down too much, and you can't have a live stream conversation like this because it's reduced the bandwidth too much. So would I recommend you use a VPN? I mean, it depends what you use your devices for. For some people, it'll make sense to use it if you're using it for work and you have a sensitive job, or you use it for other activities. For some people that, you're not living a 007 life, or you're not doing anything particularly sensitive, other than just a little bit of browsing, then there's no need to have that VPN. So you have to decide as an individual, do you value your privacy enough with the activities that you're doing on your devices to require a virtual private network? So my advice on VPN is buy a good VPN. Personally, I use ExpressVPN, but that's not necessarily an endorsement. And secondly, if you are going to buy that VPN, make sure you've done your homework and only use it if it's something that you actually need. I mean, if you don't need it, there's no need to waste that money on it, right? Now, the second question you asked is about a number of companies and their privacy practices when it comes to mining data. So my position on companies mining data, whether they are based in the UK or abroad or in Europe, is irrelevant. Privacy is a basic human right. You're underestimating how much people value their data now, but we've seen from the example of WhatsApp that people actually really do care about their right to privacy. They're willing to make that choice, and they're willing to say, look, enough is enough. I'm leaving. I'm taking my privacy somewhere else. Now, whether those concerns are founded or not.
Right, if you can hold that there, yeah, for later discussion.
We'll come to that later on in the program. But it's shown that in 2021, people actually really value their privacy, and large companies have underestimated that. But some companies have actually seen that as a trend. So, for example, Apple, when they released their iPhone Pro, I saw them buy advertising space, and all they spoke about was how they value your privacy. And we can see that Facebook actually doesn't like that, and Facebook are taking out adverts against Apple, talking about how Apple are harming businesses because they're not allowing Facebook to harvest data from Apple devices. They've increased their layer of protection. Now, when it comes to those three companies you mentioned, I can't go into the specifics of those cases. However, if they are violating your right to privacy, then you have every right to complain to the ICO, which is the Information Commissioner's Office. And if you make a claim and other people feel the same, then there is the opportunity there for a class action, such as the likes of we've seen against Marriott Hotel and British Airways. And it could be that they have to pay a significant fine and a lot of compensation to people whose privacy they're violating. Now, the interesting thing about Israel is a country whose data privacy practices were seen as adequate. And what that means is if a country is adequate when it comes to transferring personal data from the UK or from Europe to outside of those borders, if they have an adequacy decision, that means there is free flow of personal data. So there isn't really anything we can do about the free flow of personal data, but they must make sure if they are collecting data or monitoring individuals based in the UK or Europe, that they are compliant with the general data protection regulations. And of course, if they're not compliant, you can complain to the regulator and you can make a claim for compensation. But what you can also do is take control of your devices. You can take control of your browsers. So whenever you're using a website or whenever you're using a browser, always go and set it on the highest privacy settings. And just like Oliver mentioned earlier, he's got ad blocker. His level of protection and privacy is so high.
Yeah, well, we're going to come to him. I want him to teach us.
I'm sure Oliver can give some really practical and pragmatic advice that we can all live by and use to keep our privacy a little bit more guarded when we're browsing apps. Because like Foysol said, nobody's really got time to read through all the terms and conditions and privacy notices. And a lot of privacy notices are written by lawyers in such a bad way that when people read it, it doesn't make any sense to them. Now, the law actually says that your privacy notice should be written in a way where the ordinary person can understand it. And if we take a country such as the UK, the average reading age in the UK is 11 years old. So that means when I go to when I work for a client and I'm drafting their privacy notice, I need to draft it in a way where an 11-year-old would be able to understand it. But how many of you have come across a privacy notice that's written to a standard where you can really easily absorb it? It just doesn't happen, right? Because people are not understanding that they should go to consultants and not lawyers to get what they need in the most pragmatic way.
Jamal, thank you. Akik, are you still there?
Yes, I'm there.
Great. Does that satisfy, or do you want to?
Of course, it's satisfying me. Thank you very much.
No, welcome. Thank you, Akik, for actually kind of like taking part with us and continue watching us. And also, please share the link so that other people can be informed and that they all can also make those kind of choices as well. Yeah. Let's go to Brother Foysol again. First of all, very quickly, our community, obviously, like the British Bangladeshi community, I don't know, but there is so much grounds we need to cover. Even myself. I'm just learning things now, and I'm sure people who are probably watching us are going to be learning things. And there's so much, and we don't have the hours to actually kind of go through a whole kind of like workshop and explain everything. Yeah, how much do you think the community needs to be serious about privacy and protecting their data?
Okay. Very importantly, as a photographer and filmmaker, you can see where you can see the photography and filming has become a culture. Yeah, it's everything: a photograph, a video.
Jamal, sorry. First, very quickly. Yeah, I'm sorry to kind of like interrupt because I'm going to forget. I've got a camera, yeah, and I've got a very good camera, right? So now if I'm looking out my window and I start filming people outside on the street, and then I kind of post it on Facebook, and you are in there, would you feel comfortable? Foysol?
Not necessarily, because I don't know what it's used for, because you can have a comment on it, and it can have any comment to say, or they can make any comments about it. So absolutely, I wouldn't like it. Now, one of the things is very important is, look, I can look after myself. I'm an adult, but I have a child, and you have children as well. And much of what's going on the social media, your TikTok, your Instagram, it's there's no responsibility being taken. And it's very irresponsible also on the children's parents' part, and also we have to look into the health factors of ourselves as well. So what social media has, what impacts it has on the person's health also, remember, anything on social media can be taken. So a person like myself that can download anything, Yeah, I can download anything, I'm not, so, and where would that thing will be shared? Just like, let me give you an example, yeah. Yesterday, there was a post going on. Somebody posted, a person went from the UK to Bangladesh and he was in quarantine. And then he boasted about doing something illegally. Yeah, he did something illegal, although he found it funny and illegal, but it was, he himself shared it, his friend shared it, right? So I then shared it on Facebook, yeah, because it's not private. It's I directly shared from that person, yeah, because I was allowed to share it. Now the person that's boasting about it he's not looking very good. If the authorities was to catch him, yeah, he'll be in a lot of trouble. Now that's being irresponsible, and he's not aware. He's not aware of what he's doing. So there's a lot of awareness that needs to be created in our community, within ourselves, as parents, as people. Yeah, is that a benefit, as a lot of harm can come our way also if we're not careful in terms of what we're doing and where we're going. You know.
No, you're right, Foysol, because obviously I receive a lot of information. I mean, obviously, this is another aspect of social media, the impact of social media. We will, in the future, have another show to kind of like go in depth into some of the impacts. But, just to highlight, more and more people are spending more time on their phone devices, and that kids are actually on those devices. There are concerns about stress on the eye, also like, security, so that they don't go into the wrong areas on the internet and that. And also, young people, children, having access and being victim of, predators out there as well. Also, like the generation gap, a lot of the parents may not understand the internet, and also, they don't know how to deal with it. They're not trained up in any form of shape. So there's numerous different kind of issues that definitely happen. And then there's also like husband and wife having rows as well, they're not spending time together. They're not concentrating on the kids. Sometimes there's mild neglect taking place because, people are so busy on their phone, watching their movie or on their social media, where potentially there's children who are probably being neglected as well. So there's so many different issues, husband and wives, and obviously within the COVID period, there's domestic violence has also increased as well for various different reasons. I'm not saying it's all to do with social media, but I know a lot of relationship break up because of social media as well, because people are watching things and, the partners are not happy, where they're going into. I mean, there's a lot of moral and ethical areas that we also have to police and regulate ourselves, and that's from the ethical and moral perspective. But then on the general level, how we're using the information and where we are is also a concern. A lot of people were putting up photographs on social media, then realizing that they made a mistake. They want to take it down now. They're now struggling to take it down. If it's on someone else's social media, they're trying to find that person to get permission to try and take it down. It's just a headache, but that's the reality now. We're in the 21st century. It's all media led and that, yeah. And obviously parenting is very important. That's a massive challenge. What I want to do now is I want to go to the debate and argument regarding moving from one platform to another platform on social media. I'm choosing to go with beep. Okay. That's my preferred app. The only reason I want to go with beep is because, it comes from Turkey. And, I love the film Ertugrul. So anything comes from Heyvallah from Ertugrul, I'm like, want to support that. Yeah. So there's a humongous craze now supporting Turkish kind of like films and, fashion and, all that kind of stuff. Pakistan is like following, some of the movie stuff as well. And BP is doing very good in Pakistan. It's doing very good in Bangladesh now. Obviously, it's just a newcomer. It's a newbie. I've got nothing to do with them. I have no financial interest with them, and that it's just they're just where the film comes from. Ertugrul's film comes off. Yeah. So I know loads of people are arguing with me. They're saying, "Oh, what's up? Like it's privacy, this and all that kind of stuff." I don't understand it. So if the brother's here, and I guess he can explain to us why, WhatsApp is causing this problem. What can we do? Should we move over? Is it time for us to actually say goodbye to WhatsApp? Or, should we encourage other platforms to come into the market and create competition? If there's good competition, then people have choice. Greater choice is very good. Let's see. Who should we go? Who wants to go first in addressing in this? My take is, look, listen. If you want to, move away. Look, do move away from WhatsApp. Go to like Beep. Why not go to Beep? Yeah, go and check that one out and see if you like it, and use it. But one thing I do know, everyone has started to migrate, but I need to know why they're migrating. So if you are listening to us, please give us a call. Tell us why you think it's important to migrate. Look, the number is very, very simple. It's 0208 1234507. Give us a call. I'll give you priority. Tell me why I need to move away from WhatsApp. Anyone in particular would like to go first? Abu Foysol, let's go. Your chance.
Yeah, okay. So basically, why WhatsApp? Why are you singling out WhatsApp? Because I can
Okay,
look
can I tell you why? Tell you why? Yeah,
Mhm.
I've always liked to go for the big boys. Okay, so whichever one is the most popular, is the most dominant. I always like to go for the underclasses. I always like to give the smaller businesses a better opportunity against the high street businesses. So my kind of take is not that I'm picking on WhatsApp. I like to see other people, other companies do quite well, because open competition is very healthy. And when you got one or two platforms are like dominating, there's no competition. I mean, that's just my take. I mean, I could be totally wrong, So anyway, all yours.
Yeah, so I could be searching to buy something on the Amazon app, and then as soon as I switch on to my Facebook, they've sent me another message saying, "Oh, did you forget to buy this?" Right. So it's not only WhatsApp; they're all doing it. Yeah. I guess it does make sense if you're going to just switch platforms. That's fine, but I think they're all doing it, and they've been doing it for a while now.
Okay, Oliver, what's your take on this? Do you think someone like me needs to kind of move away from let's say WhatsApp? Oliver?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, could you make the question again?
Yeah. Do you think someone like me should move from WhatsApp? If so, why?
Right. So, in my opinion, you should. Why? Is because what WhatsApp does is not in your best interest. And all these tech corporations are moving in a direction that is not in the interest for the people. What a lot of people are not aware is that even when your phone is locked, WhatsApp will still be able to access your microphone and listen to what you say. WhatsApp is still going to be able to access your camera and watch you, even if your phone is locked. So, of course, my take on this is just get rid of it. But if you can't, because you have an important group chat, a work group chat, or a university group chat, or a family group chat, my take on this, what I would say is just revise the permissions that you give into the app. For instance, WhatsApp doesn't need to know your location all the time. So you might want to turn off that permission that you give to WhatsApp. Or you can't actually do not allow WhatsApp to access your camera or your microphone, because these you use them. You need them in order to use WhatsApp. But of course, you just I would say to if you can't get rid of it, just try to be a bit more take more precautions.
So you've just mentioned, I mean, I can turn off my location. That's quite important, because I don't really want them to know where I am. I want to know. I mean, the whole reason I use Facebook is I want people to know me. Yeah. So Facebook for me is my public domain. So I will post everything up there. What I eat, where I go, when I do my archery. I want them to know that. I want people to know that. Yeah. And anyone else who wants interested in me, I want them to know it as well. Yeah. And I don't care how many people want to know me. So there. but obviously, when it comes to communication on a device for, let's say, like, I kind of see what WhatsApp kind of platforms should be a little bit more private, and henceforth, I don't really want people to, like, see my photographs or like listening to me. That is very concerning if that is happening, and why should people be listening in the first place? So Oliver, are you saying that some of the other platforms are more protective in that particular way? I mean, do you use any other social media platforms apart from, let's say you're not using WhatsApp, but are there any other platforms that are safer for us to use?
Yes. So the most safe and trustworthy platform is Signal. And what a lot of people don't know is Signal is being created by the founder of WhatsApp. So WhatsApp was created in, I believe, 2011, and it was good. He was following a good privacy. He had a really good privacy policy. You had to pay for it. I don't know if any of you guys or if anyone listening used their WhatsApp back in the days. It was about 99 pence, 99 cents for the whole year. But then, I think it was 2016. WhatsApp has been bought by Facebook. I'm not sure about the year, but it was a couple of years later. And when Facebook bought it, WhatsApp just became a monopoly, just looking at spying on people, because this is how they made their money. What makes Signal special is that it's an open source app. So open source is a source that is made freely available for possible modification and redistribution. And through this code, you're able to see what's being done behind the scenes. It's simply, well, I would define it as it's a software. It's basically a software, but through this code, you're able to see what they do. And the software must comply with the criteria of free redistribution. So it's a non-profit organization. Signal is a non-profit. It's a non-profit. They make money by donations. So any entrepreneurs, or for example, Elon Musk, is using Signal, and he donates to Signal. So there's a lot of quite known people that use it. So besides Elon Musk, there is Edward Snowden, which I believe more people should be aware of. And he uses a Signal. So what you do on Signal stays on device. They do not store your data on their servers. Actually, if you download the app, you can go through their privacy policy. It's quite simple. And you can see what they do behind the scenes. And it's another app that is quite good is Telegram, but it's not open source, so you're not able to see what they do, and it's not as dedicated to privacy as much as Signal.
So there's different grades. Okay, on that particular note, I know Foysol, you wanted to come in, but I want to go to a video. I want to show you what my kind of like behind the scene manager, he basically put something together, interesting on this particular take. I mean, it'd be nice to see what my program producer behind the scene, he's actually put something together. I want to kind of watch that, and then I want to see what people's comments are on that. And Oliver, I'm gonna help you, because I'm in the same camp as you. I know where you're coming from now, so that's really good, because it is good to be critical, and if you can give us
Elon Musk.
Everyone might know this guy. I mean, let's see what he has to say. Right.
Elon Musk has suggested that people stop using WhatsApp because its new terms and conditions say that the information we put on WhatsApp will be shared with Facebook. Elon Musk is a billionaire. He co-founded PayPal, and we all let him have our money. Why do we trust him with it? Why do we let him have our bank account details? The answer is because we need to. We need to have a way to pay bills and buy things over the internet, and PayPal is convenient. The risks we take with our money are the same as the risk we take with our words, our conversations, our opinions. We want to chat to people for free, especially when they are in other countries. We want to share cute or funny things we have found on the internet. We want to send documents and pictures around even more quickly than we can do on email. It's not just WhatsApp, it's Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, other social media platforms. All these applications allow the authorities to snoop on us, to check what we are saying and who our contacts are. Governments check up on what we are doing, companies check up on what adverts it is best to send us. And few people know what is going on day to day, because none of us reads the lengthy terms and conditions before we tick the box to say we accept them. Should we stop using WhatsApp? No. Should we stop using Facebook? No. Because we should stop being naive. We should realize that any information we put on any third-party app can find its way to governments or to commercial concerns. So carry on with your apps. Just remember, Big Brother is listening.
All right, yeah. Now, Big Brother's listening, so let's give everything now. Yeah, let's just give everything. Oliver, what's your take on that?
Really, it was going on and off. The audio was going on and off. So I was just able to hear that he was saying that WhatsApp is good and we should use it.
Okay, so you managed to just get that bit. Yeah, I mean, he was trying to accept. He's bringing the argument that basically information is important. We need to give the information out. We do that regularly on all different platforms. So what's the difference really, basically? Yeah, so there's no harm. But you've kind of categorically mentioned that Signal has a different way of like dealing with privacy. They're probably different grades. Abu Foysol, what's your take on what Shah was trying to express?
Of course, the video was going on and off here, so I couldn't catch what Shabai was saying. But my take would be, whatever information you're sharing, be responsible in how you do it, what you share with people. Because there can be lots of legal issues and it can come back and bite. Yeah, so of course, I mean, before we didn't have all of this social media and Facebook and all of that, yeah. But now we do. It's different, so we have to be careful.
Okay, let me quickly go to some of our viewers. Okay, we got brother Bilal Mia. Jazakallah for posting your message. Assalamu alaikum panel. I just want to ask if there is anything that you can demonstrate to show our community that data can be diverted so that they understand that others are able to see the data, e.g. app messages. Jamal, did you get that?
I heard that. I'm not quite sure I understood the question. When you say diverted, I didn't get the rest after that.
Okay, so let's say demonstrate to show our community that data can be diverted so they understand that others are able to see that data, e.g. WhatsApp messages.
Okay, sure. Yep. Do you want to read a few more and then we can see if there's any
let me go. Is there anyone? Okay, we got brother Rajna, sister Rajna Hussain, Hilal Ahmed, Razina, wonderful. Wonderless. Begum Rumi. Yeah, these are.
That's probably tying people to watch the video.
Yeah, that's right. No problem. Okay, yeah, that's what I've got so far. That's the only question I think we got so far.
Right.
Yeah. So
I'm going to answer the question, and I might ask a few questions to the panelists when I answer that question. So the gentleman, I think it was Brother Bilal, asked the question: can we share some information to bring to people's awareness that messages can be diverted and seen by other people, for example, when they're using WhatsApp? So look, here's the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bust this myth. I'm going to bust this myth that WhatsApp messages are now being shared with people and people can see your personal messages. Okay, so nothing like that is happening. And the first thing I want to ask the panelists, who here has signed up to either Signal or Telegram or something else or Bip because of what's happening with WhatsApp? Okay, Abjol, why did you do that?
Why? Because
I don't want to know why you picked Bip. I want to know why you felt like you had to leave WhatsApp.
Yeah, I feel like I felt, like because there was a lot of arguments being made that WhatsApp is gonna like infringe on my privacy, and there's some merger taking place with Facebook, so I can be quite vulnerable. So obviously, I saw that there's a good kind of fashion trend. Loads of people are moving over. I wanted to. I don't know much about the other ones. I mean, I did. Look at.
I'm not interested in the other ones. I just wanted to understand why you left. So you said you basically left WhatsApp because you felt that
I haven't left. Yeah, I haven't left, but I've considered to actually leave. Can we? We've got a caller. Yeah. So let's go to the caller. Hello, caller.
Hello, Hunrani.
Jeje Hunyar.
আমি এটা বাংলায় কথা কইতাম স্যার
Okay, te hoy আমরা তো audience তো বাকা diverse নানি, so
I'll translate. Go on, brother.
Jamal bhai translate করবা হয়তো কা Hello
ভাই হুন্ডানি কথা আমার
হুনিয়ার হোক আপনি
তো ভাই এই যে হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে তো বহুত ফায়দা করে তাহলে আমি কইতাম যে একদিন পালা লাগে না তো হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ কেউ তো আপনারা ঝামেলা করেন না হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ ডিলিট করলিতা
না আপনি তো এটা
পোস্ট করেন না বুঝছেন নি ভালো লাগে না হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ ডিলিট করিয়া ফোন হল্লা
manche তো আসলে তো ডিলিট করা তো যত manche ডিলিট করে মুভ হই যে রাখি সো একটা পার্সেন্টেজ ওটা ইনক্রিজ হর জামাল ভাই ভালো একটা প্রশ্ন দর্শন যে ওকে আফজল ভাই আপনি কেনে মুভ হইতা চাইরা আমি দেখলাম যে ডিবেট চলে আর যে একটার মাঝে আমরা প্রাইভেসি একটা কম্প্রোমাইজ করা হই যাব কি বাক্কা বহুত মানুষ ওলা ফাল বান্দি
আপনার মাছ মাংস ভাল লাগলে না খাটল মুড়ি ভাল লাগলে না আপনারা চিকেন চিজ খাই দিতা এটা তো খেয়ে মাই করেন না
না এটা ডেফিনেটলি তো এটা তো ইন্ডিভিজুয়াল চয়েস যে জেলা বুঝেন বাট আমি তো জবাব দিছি যে আমি দেখছি মানুষের বা শুনছি বা দেখি আর ডিবেটের মাঝে মানুষ খালি ফাল বান্ধি মুভ হয়ে রাখি তা হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ তো নেই সিগনোলগিয়া লাইক জয়েন করা বা অন্য অ্যাপসের মাঝে তো আমিও চিন্তা করলাম যে তো আমারও টাইম আইছে এখন আমি হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ তো হয়ে যায় কি বাংলাদেশে তো বিপে মানুষের বিপোকে জয়েন করা গিয়া ইউজ করা সো অবভিয়াসলি যদি আমরা প্রাইভেসিটা যদি ইম্পর্টেন্ট থাকে তে মনে হয় মানুষে এই ধরনের চিন্তা করেন আর যদি লাইক ফর এক্সাম্পল প্রাইভেসি একটা কোনো ডিস্টার্ব না
অনেক ফায়দাও করে
বহুত ফায়দা করে তো বহুত
আগে ছিল না এগুলা অনেক আত্মীয় স্বজন আছে ডাইরেক্ট দেখি দিরা আছে খালি যেন আপনারা যেন বদনাম করা একটা ঠিক নাই কারণ আগে ফোন বুথে বহুত ফেকা নিত কি 10-15 পাউন্ড মিনিটে এগুলা যেন এবারে মাগনা ফোন করা যায় একটা ফায়দা আছে সব ফায়দা দেখিয়া কনসিডার করা লাগবে বহু কথা আমি কইতাম স্যার
না আপনি ধন্যবাদ আপনার মূল্যবান পয়েন্ট অফ ভিউ এটা আমিও আপনার লগে এগ্রি করি যে বহুত ফায়দা হবে বুঝোকা আমার ফোনের মাঝে এভরি কিতা ব্রডকাস্ট গ্রুপের মাঝে 500 পিপল হল আমি অ্যাক্টিভ আমার ইয়ানি আমার ইনফরমেশনটা আমি সবার কাছে দিতাম পারি তো এই ডেটাটা আমি লুজ করার দেয় তো আমি আবার মুভ হইছি না আমি আবার চিন্তা ভাবনা করি আর যে মুভ করা যায়নি আমি দেখি আর অন্য অ্যাপসের মাঝে
আমার ভাবনা আপনি হরতাম আপনার যারা পপুলার মানুষ উই হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ কি হরলে সমস্যা হইব
ওকে ইনশাআল্লাহ আমি আপনার পয়েন্টটা আমি নেই ইনশাআল্লাহ নিয়ে আমি সিরিয়াসলি আমি কনসিডার করি ইনশাআল্লাহ ভাই নাম কি তাই রিভার কইতে পারবানি আসসালামু আলাইকুম ভাই ওকে ধন্যবাদ ভাই very
so just for the benefit of anyone who's watching who didn't pick up on that selected dialogue what the gentleman caller said in summary is basically hey guys WhatsApp offers a lot of benefits if you don't like it just leave why are we making such a big hoo-ha about it if someone doesn't like meat or chicken, they can just become a vegetarian or eat something different. Like you don't like WhatsApp, leave it. It gives a lot of benefits. I can call my family in other parts of the world, which used to cost me a lot of money before, but now I can do that for free and I can actually see them, not just hear from them. So there's a lot of benefits to WhatsApp. I like them. I think they benefit us more than they harm us. If you don't like it, leave it. I don't want to hear any more complaints about such a great company. Essentially, that's what he said. I'm paraphrasing a bit. And before the caller came in, one of the things I asked Abjol Bhai is, why did you want to leave? And I said, I'm going to bust some of the myths, right? So look, I've been on a lot of WhatsApp groups, and I'm sure Abjol Bhai is probably on some of them with me. There is a lot of misinformation going on. For some reason, people think that as of February the 8th or March now, whenever this new WhatsApp privacy policy updates itself, WhatsApp will now look into your messages, see the photos that you're sending, see the videos that you're sending, listen to your voice notes, read your intimate messages, and start sharing them with people on Facebook or start sharing them. None of that is actually happening. The messages that you send from your phone to somebody else's phone, it's encrypted end to end. The messages that you send on WhatsApp from one phone to another phone is encrypted end to end, just like it is on Signal. So when it comes to sending messages, no one can actually go into your device and read those messages. Now, the reason for that is what we call encryption. Now, encryption is a bit like a lock, right? Imagine you've got a house and you put a lock on it. With data, we have something called encryption. We put locks on it. Now, what WhatsApp do, and a lot of what Signal do, is they actually put two locks on, right? So let's just say behind this door is all of the gold bars, and the gold bars are pieces of data. And when you send a message, the gold bar goes in that room and there's two locks placed on it. Now, to open those locks, to see inside the room, to see these gold bars of data or the gold bars, you need to have both keys, right? So that's what we call encryption keys. Now, WhatsApp hold one encryption key on a public server, and they have the public key, but your phone, your device, holds the other encryption key, the private key. And so for anyone to be able to look at those messages, they need both the public key and the private key, which nobody has access to. And therefore, even if there was a warrant executed that said, can you go and give me the messages, WhatsApp or Signal cannot actually access those messages. Now, there is a point, which I'm sure Oliver and other people are going to make, is that when you back up your data from your WhatsApp to the cloud, you lose that end-to-end encryption. And because it's on a cloud, if somebody wanted to, they could actually access it. It is physically possible. So that's the vulnerability with the WhatsApp, and you don't have that on Signal because Signal doesn't back up. Now, why do we back our stuff up to the clouds? And why do we automatically have it set to back up every single day? Some people do. Is because there are conversations on there, there's photos on there, there's videos on there that you want to keep. And because you want to keep them, you want to have them backed up to the cloud. So when you come back to it a week later, a month later, a year later, it's still there for you. Now, if you're worried about your data being backed up to the cloud and you don't want someone to access that, so turn off your automatic backup and delete anything that you don't want backed up, or save it somewhere else, and then you don't have to worry about that vulnerability. So look, first thing I want to make very clear to everyone is, as a result of WhatsApp's new rules on their data privacy policy, nothing has changed when it comes to the privacy of your messages, right? No one can see your message. No one can access your message. Nothing has changed, and nothing is changing since 2014, whenever WhatsApp have been around. So that's the first thing. If you're worried about people looking inside your messages and that's the reason you need to leave WhatsApp, someone's giving you the wrong information, just like someone told you that 5G is causing coronavirus, right? And we all know how ridiculous that was. So anyone that tells you WhatsApp can read your messages or they can share your messages with other people, it's all nonsense, right? So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing is, WhatsApp announced privacy changes, but what they said was anyone that is based in the UK and Europe will not be affected by any changes because you're protected by the GDPR, which is the piece of law that I spoke about earlier. So GDPR affords you a greater level of privacy, and therefore any changes that have been made is to people that live outside of the UK and Europe. Now, the audience that I'm speaking to today, most of you are in the UK, and therefore you'll have a +44 number. So if you have a +44 number registered with WhatsApp, they'll recognize you as a UK user, and therefore any changes are not going to make any difference to you whatsoever. So you've got absolutely nothing to worry about when it comes to WhatsApp and any privacy changes later on this year. Now, the third point here, which is what a lot of people are considering, is okay, if you're saying my messages are secure and safe, if you're saying there's no changes to the UK and European customers, and WhatsApp has actually asked me to agree to accept their terms and conditions, or I can no longer use the platform, there must be something they're doing differently. What is actually going on? Why is there such a big deal? Something has to be going on. We've had the biggest migration of data, and it's been reported in every single newspaper. And in fact, WhatsApp and Facebook actually paid for advertising space on the front page of every single newspaper in India a few weeks ago because of this whole problem. Okay, so I'm going to tell you exactly what's changed from 2014 to 2016. Now, look, the first thing we need to remember is WhatsApp was an independent company, but then Facebook came to buy them for 19 billion pounds, right? Nobody pays money to use WhatsApp. So when Mark Zuckerberg bought WhatsApp for 19 billion pounds, he must have known he's going to make 19 billion, maybe 190 billion from WhatsApp somehow. Now, he's been inspired by what he's seen from his from someone called Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon, and another app that we see in China called WeChat. So there's an app in China called WeChat, which you can download on your phone. It looks a lot similar to WhatsApp, but what you can actually do with WeChat is you can send money to people, you can buy things from people. It's almost like having Amazon on WhatsApp. You see a product. So WhatsApp has business. You'll see a lot of people have business WhatsApp now. So the idea is WhatsApp is going to create a website on that business group. So they have something called a magazine or a catalog. You can go to someone that's got a business account. You can browse their products. You can buy that. Now, in parts of the world, and they wanted to introduce this to India first, what they want to be able to do is they want users to go to WhatsApp, say, oh, I like that product, or I like that service and I want to buy it, and they want you to use the WhatsApp platform to make that transaction. Now, the other thing is, because Facebook own WhatsApp and they own Instagram, they want to lock in people. This is a commercial point of view. They want to lock everyone into their ecosystem. So whenever you want to buy something, whenever you want to consume something, you see on Instagram, you see on someone's Facebook page, you see on WhatsApp, it's all integrated so that you can buy it from any of these platforms and you never have to leave Facebook's platform. So that's Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, to do any shopping or to do anything. They want to lock you in, and all of your money trades so easily and freely there. Now, what they've discovered is people have become so lazy that the more easier they make it for someone to spend money, the more likely they are to click once to have that product come to their house or receive that service. So that's what they actually want to do. And because they want to do that, they have to make some changes to the way they process data. And what they want to collect is business data, metadata, transactional data. And the reason they want to collect that is because they want to be able to sell that information or share that information in a way where they can profit from it. Now, how is Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram or Facebook companies going to be profiting from your data? The only way they can do that, and the only way they do that, is by selling advertising to businesses. They sell advertising to businesses. So let's take an example here. We've got Brother Foysol. He's got a fantastic company where they do video and photography for events, whether it's the wedding, whether it's a seminar, whether it's a training workshop. Now, Brother Foysol has a small business, and he might even have a WhatsApp business account. And you can contact him on his WhatsApp business account, and you can communicate with him. But let's just say now he wants to expand his services, and he wants to say, you know what? I'm going to start doing maternity shoots, right? So for people that are pregnant, I'm going to come and take pictures of people that are pregnant because I can see there's a trend and people actually want that. Now, he can, on his WhatsApp, he can offer that, or he can have a Facebook page and he can offer that, or he can have an Instagram page and he can offer that. And I'm sure he's got presence on all of those different platforms. Now, someone can go on WhatsApp, technically, click, hey, I like that. I want to book a shoot for my wife. I want to book a shoot for my friend. I want to book a shoot for my mother or my daughter. And they can click on WhatsApp. Automatically, that payment is made, that transaction is secure. Now, he thinks, oh, wow, that was so easy. I've just made £200 selling this photo shoot. That's great. Now, how do I find more people that are pregnant who I can target to buy my product? Or how do I find people who are related or have friends and they want to gift something to somebody that's pregnant, right? So he's going to go and think, oh, you know what? I don't know these people. I don't even know anyone that knows these people, but I know who does know who they are. Facebook knows who they are. And the reason Facebook know who they are is because they've been watching what they've been liking. They've been watching what they've been saying. They've been watching what kind of websites they've been going to. And it might be that they've gone to another company that offers this kind of service, and they've shown that he's interested. So what's Brother Foysol going to do? He knows someone's interested in this product. He's going to say, hey, Facebook, here's £200. I want to spend this on advertising budget over the next month. And I want you to send my advert to everyone based in London around me that you know has looked at one of my competitors offering a similar product or service. So that's all of the information they want to collect. And that is the reason they want to collect it. So what exactly is this information that they'll now be collecting that they weren't before? And remember, this doesn't apply if you live in the UK or Europe. This is for people outside of the UK and Europe. So the changes that are being made is that they now can access phone numbers in your mobile address book. They can pick up the about information. If a message is undelivered, they can pick up on that. They can see your group names. So if you have a group, they can see the name of the group. They can also see the group profile picture, description of the group. If a payment is made, they can see the payment method. They can see the shipping details, the transaction amount, the email address, and they can also see metadata such as the usage log, the time, the frequency, and the duration and the interaction. So it's just like any other website. You would expect the servers, the people managing those websites, to be able to monitor and see those transactions, see those contact details. WhatsApp is essentially saying to people that live outside of UK and Europe, we want you to start using our platform to be able to make purchases, and therefore we're now being transparent about the information that we're going to collect. This is the new information we're going to collect. It doesn't mean that they're looking into your private messages, your private videos, your private voice notes. All it means is that if you're going to be using WhatsApp with business users, those interactions they can see. If you have a WhatsApp business group, or if you have a WhatsApp group, they can see the name of the group, they can see the description, and they can see the profile picture. They still cannot see your private messages. So if you're leaving WhatsApp because somebody's told you, or you're scared that your messages are no longer private and someone's sharing them with other people, or other people can see them, that is not true, and that is not the reason you should be leaving WhatsApp. Now, the other argument is when it comes to Signal, why is everyone jumping to Signal? So Oliver made the case for Signal, and I completely agree with him. Signal is a more privacy-focused platform. They're not looking to collect all of this data and share it with someone else, because it's a non-for-profit business. They just want to make sure that it runs. And the founder of WhatsApp, as he rightly identified, was frustrated, and he took £50 million out of the 19 billion that he got, and he put it towards building Signal. And Signal collect very little information, but they will never be part of a greater ecosystem. And because they rely on donations, they may never be as developed as WhatsApp. And anyone that's been following Signal, you can see that there's been outages. They just can't cope with the number of people migrating to them. And if it's someone from a business point of view, or if someone wants luxury, like you go and you buy Apple or you buy Microsoft, right? You buy the big boys because you know they have the money behind them, they have the people behind them, they have the resources behind them, and you're going to get the best developments. And that's the trade-off you're going to get when you go to Signal is, okay, you care about metadata that they're using, and you don't want them to collect that because you're scared of what they're going to do with it. So you've gone for a rickety ship from a rocket-proof submarine kind of thing. Now, the other thing we need to understand here is the reason I asked Abjol by the question earlier is, why are you leaving WhatsApp? He said, oh, because I'm scared of what they might be sharing. I'm a Facebook guy. I put everything on Facebook. So the thing people are concerned about is WhatsApp is sharing information with Facebook, but you're already giving Facebook all this information for free. You're giving them more than what you give WhatsApp that you're worried about they're going to share. WhatsApp might share some metadata and business transaction details, but you're with Facebook. But you're giving Facebook more than that already. So you have no case to say that you need WhatsApp for any privacy rules.
All right,
that offers a lot of clarification, and I hope that busts some myths for people. And if there's any questions from the panelists or anyone, I'm more than happy to take them.
Okay, no, definitely. I think anyone out there watching this, please help me out, yeah, because obviously Jamal Bhai is made a case. I think from his perspective of the latter part, I mean, it's kind of like strengthened me a little bit more, being a little bit resilient towards WhatsApp, because obviously I understand it now. I can understand that it's not going to breach into my privacy, but however, collecting all these analytical stuff, all these other information, because you got to remember, end of the day, people have choice. You have a choice of whichever platform you want to go to. You have a choice of giving your data information or not giving it. And if you are a person who's conscious about your privacy and it means something in particular to you, that you're more of a private person, you don't want people to know about your business kind of like modes or transactions, you don't want people to know your trend, you have the right to actually exercise that right and choose to maybe jump with Signal or whatever. Yeah. And people generally out there, if you're happy with WhatsApp and you think, like, I've got nothing to lose, and like, it's doing good benefits, and I'm sure WhatsApp is bringing a lot of benefits. I've mentioned some of those benefits myself. But the question begs me is that, okay, fine, is there a good competition out there? If Signal is actually not interested in all that kind of information, and they're interested in making sure that there is a greater privacy for you, if you fall into that camp, then maybe you are part of that school of thinking. Maybe your ideological or your outlook to society and globalism is kind of links you over there, because I know a lot of people who are ideologically grounded in certain theories, they do tend to push towards that kind of, against the state, against kind of state apparatus and control, and these kind of little things that slowly moving into becoming bigger things, and that's why we need legislation to kind of stop them and so forth. Well, enough of me. Let's go down and see what our guests have to say. If anyone else out there would like to call us or message us, please message us. Obviously, we've coming right to the end of the show now, so we will definitely conclude very soon. But let's give Abu Foysol a chance to kind of respond. Let's hear his voice, and then we'll go to Oliver as well.
Okay, my take on the WhatsApp, I won't be leaving actually now listening to what Jamal said. But when the whole thing kicked off about privacy and leaking of data, I mean, because there was a rival, I did realize that, okay, maybe they just the apps want to take us now, they want a piece of the pie, yeah. But I have a question for Jamal Bhai. Earlier, you mentioned that because we have all these privacy rights here in the UK, and anyone that has the +44 number is protected under that UK law. What about people abroad? So, say for instance, Bangladesh. I've messaged my relative in Bangladesh by WhatsApp. What about on their end? Are they covered on their end?
Yeah, so people that live outside of the UK and Europe, they're not protected by the same level of protection when it comes to their privacy as we are afforded in the UK and Europe. And therefore, what's those changes that I mentioned to you, they apply to people outside of UK and Europe. So just to be clear, all of those changes that I talked about, the metadata, the way WhatsApp is going to collect and share information with its bigger companies such as Facebook, that's relevant to the people you just mentioned now. It's not relevant to anyone in UK and Europe. So if you have relatives in Bangladesh or other parts of the world, those changes apply to them. But as far as you're concerned, you will see no changes.
Well, this is why I think, Beep is doing very well in Bangladesh, because one of the arguments, and a lot of social media people on YouTube are actually pushing Beep in Bangladesh. And one of the things they say, they don't want advertising. They don't want advertising to infringe or come into their space as well. So that's the argument some people are bringing forward. So that's why we are seeing a far greater trend of people shifting from WhatsApp outside Europe, because obviously their context and their reality is a little bit more different than the protection that we get in Europe and in the UK. Let's go to Oliver. Oliver, help me out on this, please.
Right, sure. I just wanna add a few points. I completely agree with everything Jamal said about the encryption and the data that's being collected. However, what I want to add is so chats, all the chats are end-to-end encrypted. So of course the content is not accessible to Facebook and WhatsApp. Your metadata, which is your contacts, the people you talk to, for how long you talk to, the names on the group chats, and also your location, is always being collected, even prior to the change of this new privacy policy. The only difference is that Facebook, all this metadata didn't go to Facebook automatically. So because Facebook owns WhatsApp, even prior to this, Facebook was able to access all your metadata because they own WhatsApp, of course. So from February the 8th, which is the date of the privacy change, the privacy policy change, all your metadata will be shared with Facebook automatically. So I just believe that this is something that they've been doing even prior to this, because a lot of these tech corporations are just lying. Most of them are, and they always in breach with the privacy policy most of the times.
Oliver, very quickly, I mean, it looks like you're very staunch in your opinion. I mean, obviously, you don't use WhatsApp. Has today's discussion or what Jamal Ahmed has said to kind of bust the myth, has that persuaded you a little bit to consider coming back to WhatsApp? And why not?
Not really. Because everything I do, I'm really interested in protecting the privacy, every aspect of my life. I want to be able to own my information, and I'm not very keen in giving my life to these tech corporations. And that's pretty much it, really. I made all my family and all my friends move to Signal since last year as well. I was using it even prior to this. I was using
Oliver,
Signal.
Can I persuade you to move over to Beep? Can I persuade you to move over to Beep?
I need to look into the privacy policy.
Okay, all right. If you can do me a favor, look into the privacy policy, and we'll catch up on that one, because obviously that's taken up quite bigly in the Muslim world. Yeah, so I'm kind of interested to see why why outside Europe all these kind of trends are like building up and what the arguments are. So if you can do that for us, that would be really good. Okay, well, Oliver, thank you very much for actually coming on, being strong with your opinion and holding on. And obviously everyone has a right to hold their positions. Foysol, what I want to do now is give everyone a last chance to say their farewell now, because obviously we've come to the end of the show. I'd like to apologize to all my guests for like running over half an hour more than we've been scheduled. It's very common on our shows, because once we see there's a lot of interaction and like people are kind of like benefiting, we do tend to kind of go over the time that we kind of like state, inshallah. So hopefully we haven't taken too much of your time. So what I want to do is kind of give you all a last couple of seconds to actually kind of like conclude, and then obviously I will conclude as well myself. So let's start with who should we go? We've had Jamal Bhai like saying quite a lot of things. So let's get Jamal Bhai to finish off very quickly for now, inshallah.
Yeah, so like personally, for me, it's about an informed choice. So if you do want to go to an alternative provider, then now you have the information in which to make that choice. So go for the right reasons, and because you understand why, not because everyone else is doing it and because 5G is causing COVID, right? Now, personally, I use WhatsApp. I have Facebook. I gave up my data to Facebook a long time ago, and I see the benefits. I look at the costs and I look at the benefits. And for me, the benefits outweigh the cost to my privacy for what's happening there. And therefore, I continue to use WhatsApp. But I do also use Signal. I've been using Signal for about 2 years, and it's actually my default SMS service provider. So it doesn't mean that just because you're using one platform, you can't use another platform. The desired outcome is always to increase choice. Now, if anyone's interested or wants to follow up with anything I've said today, you can find me on Facebook. You can like my page and you can interact there. You can do /facebook.com Jamal Ahmed FIP, and you can interact with me that way.
Great. Abu Foysol?
Okay. On my part, to finish off being photographer, I think in terms of the culture of filming photography, we as a society, a community, need to take responsibility as a moral obligation. We need to look at our children in terms of what they're doing, what type of culture they're adopting, because it's the social media is crazy over there, and we don't know, to what level it goes to. It's like as if it's showing everything. So we as a community, we need to, although it's there, we're talking about people, companies taking our private information, but like what Jamal Bhai said, we're just giving it to them anyway. So be careful in terms of what you share, because there's people, their health is affected. We know of loads of cases where people have shared certain videos, or sometimes it's gone out, and then these people are becoming suicidal and all of this and suffering. So this is a major issue. Children, too much time on the social media, they go through depression and anxiety. So we as parents, we need to take responsibility and be aware of all of this.
No, that's a fantastic message, and we have to be very mindful for that as well. Oliver, young man, you're the youngest here, the bravest one. Your last take.
Well, my last take is just take more precautions when it comes about privacy. Of course, keep using what you have to do, but just make sure you're taking the necessary precautions.
Great, excellent, Oliver. Can I just give a big thanks to all my guests taking part today. Obviously, it's a pleasure having them on board. They come from various different expertise background, and I hope that everyone kind of enjoyed or benefited from our discussion. Obviously, I've tried to make it as difficult as possible. I mean, I did start off with like kind of thinking of moving away from using WhatsApp. Have I been persuaded, convinced? Before I actually make my kind of statement, it'd be interesting to find out from your comments. Please, leave a comment with us and tell us if you are someone who's thinking of actually moving away from WhatsApp, your reason and what's the benefit of actually making that move. From my perspective, I think, look, all of us have an opportunity to make informed choices. Brother Jamal is very much clear and correct. We can only provide the information, and you and I, we all have to decide with our own terms and conditions. Yeah. However, just like to say to our community, look, privacy is very important. If you look at the development of society, people fought for their private aspect, private privacy, and the development of society had a lot of emphasis on privacy as well. And if you look at from a Muslim perspective as well, the private sphere is very, very important, and there is a big overlap that's taking place. And obviously, even the Islamic scholars are like kind of looking at this phenomenon of like the public and the private have its fusing and fusion. I remember 25 years ago when I was like doing my social sciences, and we were talking about all this then, by the way. We were looking at the theories then, network society, the whole systems approach and everything. We were talking then before the concept of like data protection and that kind of kicked in, because society is moving towards that direction. More and more of your behavior, your characteristic, your psychology can be profiled. And the question is, I mean, most of it is probably harmless. Is not going to make an impact. But however, in managing society, in looking at diversity in society, looking at different levels of society, sometimes it potentially there can be at risk of like being abused and so forth. We've seen it happen in various different other forms. The other big problems that we're facing is people hacking into people's technologies and that. Yeah, sometimes I don't feel safe because, putting all these passwords in, how safe is it online as well? Yeah, and a lot of cybercrime is on the rise. We didn't get a chance to kind of, touch on that much, but, in the future shows, we will go into that a little bit more. Yes, there is a big need for us to protect ourselves. There's also a very big need for us to understand what privacy means. As an individual, as a society, how much of that we want to give away, just because big corporations and big companies want to be able to monetize and profit from trends and things like that. I mean, if you're okay with that, it's no problem. And if you're not okay with that and you want to stay private, are there any other alternative? Are there any other means? And I can see at the moment there is a healthy competition. There are other platforms. You decide, you choose whatever you think you want to go to. You may use both. One thing I have learned from Oliver, I'm going to do my best to basically make sure I restrict as much as I can WhatsApp as possible. So obviously he's giving me some tips on that. I'm going to put that into good use. I don't think they need to know where I'm moving, where I'm going. I'm going to keep that element turned off. And I'm kind of reassured by Brother Jamal that they're not going to take everything and share everything. So I'm kind of a little bit comfortable now. But however, there is a massive trend of people moving away for whatever reasons that they have. If you're one of those, good luck. If you want to stay where you are, best to you as well. On that particular note, from 13 Rivers Community Trust, thank you very much for being with us. So hopefully if you watch the repeat, you will benefit from it as well. Remember, we are a charity organization, and we do various different good work within the UK and abroad as well. So please go to our webpage, 13riverstrust.co.uk. Look at some of our programs. Please support and promote us as well, and enjoy spending that time with us. And hopefully I'll look forward to seeing you next Wednesday on our next show, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.